All right, we get a chance to sit down with Blues President of Hockey Operations and General Manager Doug Armstrong. The trade deadline has come and gone, and your team has stand pat. Doug, your philosophy going in, and why did you stand pat today?
Well, we were taking phone calls and making phone calls, and at the end of the day, our recent play had put us in a spot where we didn't make any moves.
Obviously, the Blues have 3 unrestricted free agents this summer, including Scandella. Vucinovich's name was public for the last couple of weeks. Did you take a lot of calls on those players?
Yeah, I don't want to get into speculation of what people are reporting or making up or whatever, however they're getting it. But you know, it's a time of year where teams talk about all sorts of different people and players.
Doug, obviously you have a lot of conversations. All teams do. Sometimes conversations that don't lead to deals perhaps lead to deals down the road?
Yeah, that's happened quite a bit in my tenure. You start to talk, and all of a sudden you keep your notes, and you get to the draft, and something may pop itself up, or you hear what other player or people may have done. And there are a lot of trades have made today, and there's going to be some great first-round matchups of teams that have spent a lot of assets. And the reality is after the first 12 or 13 days, 8 teams are going home, and some of them spent a lot of assets to get here. We've been in that spot in the past too, and so I think at the draft everything will be settled in, and we're looking at a new year, and we'll see what comes up at that point. But yeah, there's a lot of conversations now that you do keep in the back of your mind.
Doug, you had said before the season began that you expected the team to contend for a playoff spot, a wild card spot. You are contending. You're only 6 points out. Are they about where you thought they would be right now?
Yeah, I thought yes, I guess if I said we hope to be contending, and we are in that spot. I think, you know, as the season goes on, you have ebbs and flows. We put ourselves in a really good spot heading into the All-Star break. Coming out, we won 2 games, and then, you know, quite honestly, the bottom has fallen out recently, and we have to find a way to cauterize that and to start playing better hockey. Right now, the situation I thought really turned our season in a negative was that Nashville game when I think we were 4 points up with 2 games in hand, had them at home, and they were able to gain a spark from that and have gone on, I think, maybe losing 1 game in overtime or anyways, they have a heck of a record and we don't. And that really gave us an opportunity to put some distance, and they found them positive momentum out of that game, and we quite honestly haven't bottomed out since that game, and we have to if we want to get back in this race.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what would it take to overcome the deficit and perhaps be a playoff team?
Maybe to flip the next 10 games with Nashville.
Okay, there you go.
You know, as I said, we were comfortably in a comfortable spot with them with games in hand, and to their credit, they've gone on a nice winning streak. I think Seattle had an 8-game winning streak earlier in the year. You know, it's an ebbs and flow league, and right now we can't worry about what other teams do. We have to start winning games. We obviously have difficult games coming up, but if you can't beat difficult teams, you don't deserve to get in anyways. So we have to find a way to play strong hockey and find a way to get points in these games, and then, you know, just take it one day at a time. One thing we do have most nights, or almost every night, is really good goaltending. And when you start with that, it gives you an opportunity. We just have to follow that up with good play around them.
Doug, I don't need to tell you, but, you know, 5-on-5 scoring for the Blues this year, especially the last couple of months, has been a challenge. How can they score more 5-on-5 goals and give those goaltenders more of a break?
Well, I think that our shot volume is in the lowest in the league, and our pucks towards the net are in the lowest to the league. And I know it's something that's been preached on by 2 different head coaches now, is that getting pucks to the net and you have to go into the hard areas. And when we do it, we've had success. And then for some reason we want to start playing east-west and pass up shots and probably play a little bit outside our skill level, thinking there's a better play to be made when there isn't. And you look at the teams now that have successes, they play direct from a certain part of the ice, and when we play like that, we're successful, and we don't produce offense.
Doug, certainly a positive that you re-signed Oskar Sundqvist, the Swede, to a 2-year deal the other day. Why was it important to get him locked in for 2 more?
Well, Sonny's obviously been a big part of our organization for a number of years and a couple different times, and getting him back was good. When I look at that line of Sundqvist, Torpachenko, and Walker, probably our most complete line every night for what they asked him to do. They very rarely is the variance from a great game to a poor game different, and I think that is a positive effect on our team. Sonny loves St. Louis too, and that's something that you can't take for granted. Someone that wants to be here, wants to be the fabric of our community, but most importantly, he has to do it on the ice. And I think having the surgeries that he's had and coming back and being healthy, and then also wanting to be a part of the solution, it became a no-brainer when he and I got together on whether we would move a player like that along at the deadline. There certainly, I assume, would have been interest in him because he's won championships and played in championship games, whether it's in Sweden or with Pittsburgh here a couple of times, and then with us. And we just thought it was best to keep that type of talent and that type of character and that type of leadership in our room.
Finally, Doug, obviously the Blues have a lot of prospects, a ton at the World Juniors. Zach Dean's in the minors. We see Bolduc up with the club. You had 3 first-rounders last year. You have your first-rounder this year. I guess the question is, how soon for Blues fans can we expect this young core, the next generation of Blues, to help turn the ship around, if you will? Yeah,
they're not going to come all in at once. I think that what we've seen is growth in our younger players. That's one of the things I wanted to see this year, or we wanted to see as an organization. Jake Neighbors has had a good year. Scotty Prunovich now is healthy and is getting an opportunity on a nightly basis. Bolduc is up now. Kessel's been up. And I think we're going to probably see Dean at some point too. So we're going to keep interjecting these younger players as we go. I think first-round picks or players drafted in 2023, we're going to have to stay patient. Yeah. There's an actuary table that we use or that we've created when you slot a player in from his position and when he likely play his 11th game, 50th game, 100th game, and that's usually a few years. So yeah, right. We're excited to have these guys, but we know that to get them to be good players over the long haul, we're going to have to work with them and be patient and let them progress.
Doug, thanks for this. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
All right, Doug Armstrong.